special.
COVID special, mask up.
Mask on. Word. Now we can do this. I don't know how we're gonna drink coffee with mask on.
That's gonna be a challenge.
You need a straw that can reach underneath the mask.
Perfect. A really big, intricate sippy straw.
Yeah. Going all the way across the room.
Perfect. I'm like, just for one drop.
Yeah.
Because it's like across the room. Goes through Segway.
The other thing you could do, Matt, is you could always turn somebody down, and then if you want to see when it's, you know what I mean? We're screening it just to do the Smells good in here.
Smells like coffee.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Oh, yes.
I like it. Hey, what do you think about just these vocal levels, just as if we talk into them like this? Good. And if Jacob's talking over here? Sweet. This is gonna be cool. I'm gonna go shut and lock that door right there.
Okay. I'm pouring coffee, and then after that, I'm gonna start just recording. I like that.
It's fun.
What if I just blatantly mislabeled colors?
What do you mean?
I'm like, what a wonderful teal coat you have.
They're like, excuse me?
Like that.
I really like wearing orange.
They're like, teal. It's like, yeah, teal, like, you know, like, a Coke.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it.
Should we start a little bit of, well,
We can. What do you want to start with?
just like a little warm up?
Yeah, get like a little
Yeah.
warm up, introduce the show, kind of be like,
Cool.
say
Are
that
we
as a-
live right now?
Yes,
Cool.
we have been
Alright.
since the coffee,
I can do the
which
intro.
I love.
I'm gonna drink the coffee and do the intro. Yes. Here it is.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wait, so which one's the forward camera? I'm Jake Hillard, or the Digital, and this is back at House of Breaking Glass.
Ooh, the coffee's making a cool noise too.
It is. It's like a machine kicking to life. Do you want to start with something? With an idea?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Can't see him.
I'm
Oh,
here.
he
I'm here.
appeared.
I was just seeing what they thought. I think it was pretty hot and dirty sounding, but
Hot and dirty sounding.
maybe
That's what we
just
go
back
for
off your
here.
output a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
but I think we're good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're going for hot and dirty. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What are you doing?
Welcome.
Well, today, we're just kind of doing some open form improvisation based around live recording and sampling live, utilizing Reason, utilizing our space here that we have for kind of creating in the moment, which is really what our mantra is about here at this studio. And our goal is to kind of infuse being creative in the moment with taking a look behind the scenes of what makes Seattle music special, and getting behind the scenes on some of the songs that we like to listen to as well. So
Maybe also talk about some hot takes.
yeah, we got a couple hot takes here and there for those who want the smoke. Yeah. So, and again, I'm Jake, and this is Phil, and we're gonna be your co-hosts for this series for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So welcome. Yeah.
So
Are you gonna play some sax at some point?
I think I probably should, huh? Well, I could shut up and play a little sax over this. I mean, I was kind of liking where this was going.
Yeah, maybe you should just roll tape and
I'm
play
totally
some
down
sax
with that.
over what you have so
Yeah.
far. It's pretty sweet.
I'm not mad at it.
So yeah, it's really fun to be able to exercise the muscle of just putting something on as a two-piece with not a whole lot of structured plan going on so far musically.
Yeah,
and just seeing where things lead, because that's a fun muscle to stretch,
Yeah, for those unaware, we planned 0% of what we're saying,
Yeah.
doing, or playing at
Yeah.
this point in time. But it's kind of better that way. So
Yeah. More fun for us. That's sweet. Sounds good.
We are.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Should we
Y'all should interview each other.
interview each other?
Oh. Okay.
Cool.
I like it.
I like it. I like it.
Now's the hard part.
The hard part.
Yeah, I can talk about like what your main instruments are. Maybe if y'all have been on tour, what's some bass tour stories.
Okay, I like some of that.
Yeah, y'all like being backstage, being on the floor.
Yeah.
What's your favorite local performance you might have went to? What's your favorite national performance you might have went to?
Well, I think we could start with asking Phil. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in music? And where
Well,
you come
before I
from?
do that, I want to talk about the last backstage I was in,
Yeah.
and it was really cool. It was at the Rockwood in Manhattan, and it's this tiny little showcase. Well, it's kind of a large building, but there's lots of little showcase venues inside of it. Kind of like if you've been to Hotel Cafe in LA. But anyway, Nada Surf was there, and they were going to do an NPR thing and talk about their Rick Rubin, or not Rick Rubin, I'm sorry, that's stupid. Rick Ocasek. I was just listening to the new Strokes record today, and Rick Rubin made that, and it's really good. Anyway, so that's why I made that blunder. But Rick Ocasek produced Nada Surf's first record, so he passed last year, and so the NPR interview was asking them about that, but also they were playing a show in this showcase for people. And I went in there, I wasn't going to play with them, and I went in there, and the bass player was laying on his stomach on the ground in the green room, because it was a really tiny place, and he was just laying on his stomach, totally beat. This is at the end of a huge tour where I played with them a bunch, and he was just laying on the ground, and they were like, oh no, we can't do just what I needed to tribute Rick Ocasek, because we didn't bring our guitar player to do the solo, and you can't do it without the solo. And so, then the bass player's on his stomach, and he barks over, Phil can do it. And so I get on stage with them for this one song, and I sang the guitar solo, and it was ridiculous. And I'm like, whew, I made it through. I did it. It worked. I nailed it, actually. But but it was like definitely like a
Did you just sing
high
it into
endorphin.
57?
Yeah, I just sang it into a 57.
How big was the crowd?
It was like probably 50 people or more, but it was a tight spot. It was like a similar size room to this, so it felt packed. And it was all fans, because it was like an exclusive thing. It was really fun. Wow. It was really a blast thing. And so that was, being that now we don't really have shows going on, that left a good taste in my mouth. It was kind of the ideal thing, because it was intimate and exclusive and vibey, and the place was cool, and the band was amazing. And
yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, background. I grew up playing music, so I have a lot of exposure to lots of different genres and schooling and lessons and all that stuff. And then I just have never quit. I've just been continuing to do it along the way. So I'd like to hear about where you're coming from.
I started playing saxophone at a very young age. Grew up just playing any instrument I could get my hands on, and ended up going to school at Berklee College of Music and discovered music production, and promptly dropped out of school to pursue music production.
As one does.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, and so I've been producing, engineering, working in some capacity with recording for the last 12 years. I've managed studios in Boston. Currently, I've been working with several rappers and artists in the city, especially talented rappers. Nobi in particular, and we're working on our debut album. So, I mean, it's kind of my journey is where I'm at currently is the sum of the parts of my complete journey over the last 16, 17 years in music as an artist, all the way to a songwriter and recording engineer, and the guy who's behind the scenes a little bit trying to put it all together. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of tentacles.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
Yeah, I think that's today's modern producer is more akin to the old school where producers were largely in charge of the actual project on top of the recording process and everything, and they were in charge of the logistics behind it, even down to where you were sourcing your funds for your album and all that stuff. Like, a lot of producers had a very expanded role back in the earlier days.
Yep. And producer as A&R, functionally, sometimes that has to be the case, you know? Or as a manager, you know?
Yeah, and that's...
If you have to be. It's nice to be able to delegate all the things, though.
It's really nice, yeah. And it's nice to be separated from that aspect and just focus on the creative aspect of a relationship. But sometimes the way that the business works ties into the creative part, too.
Well, and if you get the business out of the way, then you can just be creative and you don't have to have that sort of lurking, ominous feeling or thing or whatever. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's in line, it's not you don't feel so bad for taking people's money. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Is rap your favorite genre you like working with? Phillip, what kind of genre you like working with?
I've worked in a lot of different things. I really enjoy variety, so I don't know if I would want to limit any of my work just by genre. I think that my exposure to every different genre is what gives me a fresh perspective into any of the other genres that because I think when you're trained in the classical world, there are many different styles and genres within that.
Yes.
You know, whether it's romantic or Baroque or whatever that is. So you sort of learn different dialects musically. Because I was even going to say, like, you know, you have all these facets of what you've done and what you've been doing, and it's sort of just like a language, though. So if you just know how to speak the language, then you can write a book, you can sign a letter, you can do all these different things. It's a language.
Absolutely.
And that's part of it. So being on top of the genres and being able to dip into whatever genre I want to is kind of how I see it.
Sure.
But
I think that's kind of what gives Seattle's its edge a little bit. You know, it's really versatile, where you don't necessarily get pigeonholed.
Yeah.
It's almost like a launching pad to where you're going to go sometimes. But also,
Yeah.
you know, if you stick to it in your lane, you're also working in like in a fresh perspective. Like how you said, you're cherry picking the best of all worlds, you know?
Yeah. But that's not to say if you know what genre you're trying to do, man, that's great. You should dig in and do it. You know, that's what your voice, you know, it's where, if that's where you belong, then own it, you know, because we need that. We can't just have everything be nebulous, you know. It's nice to have genres and it's nice to have certain ways of.
I think the creative boundaries inspire creative innovation. So yeah, when you're limiting yourself to one genre, or you know, for a song, you allow yourself to try to push the boundaries in the creative box a little bit more by focusing on genre in that aspect. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about people marching to their own tune as opposed to what they think might sell or what is influencing them outside of what their actual song is. I think there's many cases of that throughout the industry, for sure.
Yeah. I guess my point would be also, if something's working for you, like if you wrote a country song and that's the song that everybody loves and it's working for you, like it's okay to lean into that too. You know, it's okay to just be in a genre. That's good. That's
I take a country song hit.
Yeah, exactly.
They need it.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if somebody's buying you plane tickets and putting you on tour, you know, because they like X, Y, or Z, then just keep making X, Y, and Z and see what happens. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to lean into it. You don't have to be scared of it, is what I mean. You know. So I don't prefer a particular.
Don't be scared of the genre.
Yeah, I don't prefer a particular genre, but I also love a lot of different genres, and I like that. You know,
it's fun putting on the different
exist.
hats. Like I'm gonna play blues, or I'm gonna play. Sometimes I'll put on my saxophone hat and be like, I'm gonna play sax line over this song, and you think of it from that perspective. That's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Or like, yeah, with strings, am I in outer space or am I in Nashville? You know, am I in New York or LA or under the ocean? You know, it could be anything. So it's fun. It is like wearing a hat. Like,
Got
it's
some
fun to
underwater string sounds for sure.
try on some different things.
Bikini bottom hits.
Yeah. Yeah. We bring them from all the way down there.
Well, we're at 50 minutes now.
Cool. Well, I mean, there's plenty more stuff that we could talk about, but do you want to tell me about because you talked about the sax stuff, but I'm still not even fully ingesting completely or digesting completely how you are doing all the beats and the computer and the digitech and sort of this one-man band of sorts.
Yeah.
I'd love to just give us an overview of that.
Basic overview here is that I'm taking sounds that we're playing live and recording them in real time and then flipping those sounds to create these beats, along with using my own drum sounds from my drum machine, the Electron Digitech, or my Moog grandmother, or even just sounds within reason right here. Largely it's kind of more akin to, I think live sampling is the best way of putting it, but it's really focusing on continually adapting, and I'm starting to learn techniques to continue the song moving forward and evolving, and it's kind of cool what you come up with, because you start out with these one ideas and they like change into something completely different within a matter of minutes. So
Well, it's been really fun to watch having you in here a bunch, and you're not even looking at your hands, you're just kind of like doing this, and the music is coming out, and it's just it's kind of cool. It's like, that's your instrument, you know.
Yeah,
this whole thing right here is your instrument.
this thing is my instrument.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like
cool.
a contraption.
I
So-
sometimes look at the studio as my instrument. Like, this is my instrument, and I'm gonna learn how to play every facet of it.
I think that's where my big step came last year as a producer, was working out at Catalyst Labs and learning how to use the actual space all the way down to this. We had a hall that I used to run a microphone. I told you this one time about how I used to run a microphone into the hall and play the 2-track on my speakers in my studio and record the echo on the other side so that I could get a room reverb. And learning how to use the building, like physically use it to make your sound, kind of changes your perspective on what is the instrument when you're producing. Because it's like, it's not necessarily a physical saxophone or cello even, or even a computer. It might be the room, or, you know. So.
Well, and we're constantly, that's the other thing, we're constantly trying to tweak and improve the studio. Like, so I guess earlier today we were struggling with trying to get the inputs to work right and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, we continue to grow and learn every time.
Absolutely.
So, and that's like, can be stressful if you know you're going to be streaming in a few minutes, but it's also kind of the fun part.
That's the fun part.
Now we know.
Yeah. How long it takes to get set up for a 1-hour live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, now we know that one preamp sounds really good when the input is on 0.
Oh.
Who knew? It sounds great on 0 now. Now we know.
We might need to look into that.
Well, it sounds great now.
It sounds wonderful. Yeah.
So,
hey,
whatever.
I think I have a couple of preamps at 0 right now. There's a lot of there's some hot signals running right now.
So that's part of it. So, but we're that's part of the aesthetic too. We're going for a little bit grittier sometimes too. So.
Yeah. What are you listening to lately?
Well, just now that there's 3 songs on the new Strokes record that are available, and it's Rick Rubin produced. I mentioned it before, actually. That's really good. I'm really enjoying that.
Wow.
And I think the whole record might be coming out like today or soon or something, this weekend, something.
Okay.
So check that out, and it's really good. So it's pretty cool. So I've been enjoying that, and I've also just been enjoying a lot of show and tell of different things that Matt's been showing me. Slide guitar work and stuff like that.
Do you play guitar a lot?
No, I like guitar as a writing implement, but when it's time to really track guitars, I just make a call. You know?
I don't blame you. Yeah. There's some headaches you don't need for sure.
If you want campfire guitar, great.
You
know.
Campfire guitar.
I've got you. I can play all the campfire chords.
You want
fun.
Kumbaya?
Like writing. I can write on a guitar, but I can't really. You know, that's not
it's fun to noodle on.
But
guitar.
bass, I'm like decent on the bass.
Well, that's like the most akin to cello.
It's pretty similar to the cello, and like piano. I had a lot of piano lessons, but I just not a pianist. But man, programming lines or whatever I need to do, I can play keyboard, but I wouldn't say I'm a pianist.
Serviceable.
Right, serviceable keyboard skills.
Same here, absolutely. I
That's
can't.
all you need.
Don't hire me to play piano.
I mean,
for you.
really, when it comes down to it, like, I'm not gonna hire you for what your hands can do anyway. I'm hiring you for what your ears can do.
Most likely, hopefully.
Yeah. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
Finish it up.
Should we finish up this same track?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Should we keep working on this guy? What do you think next on it? Maybe some
And we've gone
keyboards?
so far in direction.
Or we
but
could start a
let's hear
new
it.
thing.
I like this loop where we were at. The loop where we were at was
There's
pretty
some
good.
really different, good, tasty spots.
Thank you to all two
But
of you, probably.
We're trying to get more subscribers on YouTube, which was kind of why we're fighting the harder fight by doing some stuff on YouTube, because there's just a lot of noise on other sites, in my opinion. But we're gonna also try to get other stuff going on too.
Easy.
So this is kind of a beginning of us trying to exercise these muscles and work out the bugs and figure out how we're gonna do more of these in the future. But I think we could have some guests come in with us soon. So
I think next week we have a guest.
Oh, cool. Who is it?
JP from Reposado, correct?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, to be determined, but we will definitely have a guest. Potentially have a guest, which will make it fun.
Yeah.
That could be good. Well,
Cool.
Are we live still?
I think so. Oh, we're not.
James?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it in.
Okay.
Where are we supposed to go?
So
Wait, we're
should-
supposed to
what
go
should we
live?
do?
No.
Yeah. Wait, we weren't recording? No. just
Yeah.
kidding.
We're still live.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you
Cool.
guys for tuning in.
Yep.
And
Subscribe, and we're gonna make more.
see you next week, 5 to 6 on Thursdays, back at house at House of Breaking Glass.
Back in house next week, same time, same channel.
All right, now we can edit.